I'm not gonna lie. My Neighbor Totoro was one Miyazaki movie I hated the first time I saw it. And keep in mind, I didn't know of ways to watch these movies online. I bought them for 20 bucks a pop back then. I'll get more into detail on that in the future, but the point is, I spent $20 on what I thought was a sorry excuse for a Miyazaki movie. It was too kiddie, it was boring, and not much happens in it. This is the same guy who made movies like Castle in the Sky and Nausicaa, and he turns around and makes this? I was not a happy camper. But upon watching it again, I finally understood it. See, I have this thing where I tend to take certain media at face value. Sometimes, I just don't get the underlying storytelling that the creators are going for. I found out there's a reason this movie is cute and not much happens in it. It's meant to be a movie about childhood. The main plot concerns the girls not being able to see her mother because she's sick. And so the girls hang with Totoro, and that makes them happy. One of the most brilliant things about this movie is it doesn't make it clear if Totoro is real, or if he's just a creation of the girl's imagination. It's got to be one of the most realistic portrayals of how kids think and function. You're not old enough to understand certain situations, and it only makes sense for young ones to have their own imaginations to cope with what they don't quite comprehend. I know I did it when I was growing up, and considering that all that happened when I was little that my mom told me about recently, yet I don't remember, it puts in perspective the true power of childhood innocence. It makes sense why Totoro has become a cultural icon and Studio Ghibli's mascot. He represents everything that not just Ghibli stands for, but imagination in general. Fun, lovable, and full of magic. My Neighbor Totoro is one of those hard movies to recommend. If you are looking for an action-packed adventure like Castle in the Sky, you won't find it here. The best frame of mind to be in when viewing this movie is thinking of works like Winnie the Pooh and Calvin and Hobbes. Sometimes, the real adventure to be had is just outside your backyard. Continuing with the more pleasant movies, Miyazaki gave us a tale about a little witch trying to make it in the world, Kiki's Delivery Service. Once again, another movie that's so hard to explain why it's so fantastic, but I'll try my darndest. So Kiki is a witch who sets off on her own and flies into town, and what, she has to deal with prejudice of being a witch? Well no, the town is quite accepting of her and she even gets a job delivering bread at a bakery. So then what, demons come and take over the town and only she can stop them? No, she just delivers packages and interacts with people in town. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Probably not the kind of blood and guts tits flying out anime that y'all are used to, huh? But you know, does it really need to be? This is another quality of Miyazaki's movies, subverting expectations. You expect his movies to be going one way, but they have a way of surprising you. This is probably why with some of his movies, you might not like the first time viewing, because you don't know what to expect. However, watching them again, you start to appreciate what they're about and the messages they're getting across. This is a movie about growing up and taking care of yourself. Might not sound like the most interesting of concepts, but it's got just the right dose of supernatural elements that make it interesting and magical. And you think that Kiki being a witch, everything should be easy for her, but no, she makes mistakes and she stumbles along her journey, as humans do. And the movie touches upon the hardships of being an adult, buying food, working, even on slow days, and losing interest in kiddie things. This sure as hell ain't a kids movie, as I don't think they'd get all the mature themes going on here. I've heard people say that if an animated movie can easily be made in live action, it ain't good animation. I don't exactly agree with that. Animation isn't a genre, it's an art form. Any story can be told using it, no matter how simple. And a lot of Miyazaki's work is great examples of this. But I gotta say, what makes this movie for me is an artist character named Ursula. Considering I was going to college and learning art for the first time I saw this movie, what I'm about to tell you really hit me. So Kiki hangs out with Ursula, who lives in a cabin in the woods. Sounds like the life, I know. Well anyway, Kiki is feeling depressed because she's lost the ability to fly, Ursula tells her that she's overthinking it and she just needs to let inspiration flow through her. Just like art. Some days, you just can't find yourself doing what you love and you get mad about it. Nothing you make seems to look good. But when you stop worrying about it, you feel like you can take on the world. If that's not the perfect way to sum up what it's like being an artist, I don't know what is. Kiki's Delivery Service is a movie that celebrates the people you meet in life. Those who you meet once, or multiple times, but you always remember how much you enjoyed being around them, and maybe they made an impact on you. There's a scene involving Kiki delivering a pie to a woman's grandmother, and it shows all the hard work they put into it. Kiki even helps the old lady around the house. But she's also running late for a party she was invited to. It starts to rain on her way there, and when she finally gets to the delivery, the little girl's a spoiled brat and she didn't even want it. All that work and no appreciation for it, it's just so frustrating. But it's great that Miyazaki had a scene like that in the movie. It just goes to show that life isn't about the destination, but the journey. Sure, you have fun along the way, and sometimes you need to experience the hardships in order to appreciate how great it can be. Kiki's Delivery Service is one of my all-time favorite films, and it only gets better as I get older. Hate to be that guy again, but Porco Rosso is another Miyazaki movie I hated the first time viewing. I thought it was Miyazaki at his absolute laziest. A pig flying a plane? Oh, come on, that's stupid. I know Miyazaki can do better than this. Why did he resort to something so, boring? But upon watching it again recently, I finally understood what's so great about it. I see it as a tribute to classic Hollywood movies. It's got that old-timey feel that those kind of films had. And as a fan of old Hollywood myself, I love that kind of stuff. Even the film's poster looks kind of like an old film poster. And one great quality of this movie is the title character. You slowly learn more and more about him as the film goes on. You don't exactly know if he's in it for the money, or he's just doing it because he's a good person. It's one of those stories that plays out as it goes along. My favorite character in the movie, though, is a little girl named Theo. She's an engineer who rebuilds Porco's plane, and even goes along with him on his journey. Porco acts like a sexist, well, pig at first, but he soon learns to like her. And Theo isn't whiny about it either. She just does her work and loves what she does. Her passion for building planes rubs off on me, and it kinda makes me want to start building them myself. Unlike the last two movies, there is a lot more action in this one, because it's about flying planes. There are plenty of dogfights to satisfy some fans looking for more high stakes. It's also a little shorter than Miyazaki's other movies. Most of them are 100 minutes, heck, some of them run over 2 hours, but this one is only 90 minutes. So even if you don't enjoy it, you can spend 90 minutes on worse movies. So while I don't have an emotional connection with it like I do some of Miyazaki's other movies, I definitely love it a lot more than I did when I first watched it. It's an old-timey, high-flying action adventure with plenty of girl power and funny moments to have an all-around good time with. Let me know what you guys think of the movies I talked about in this video, and tune in next week for me to talk about the next 3 movies in Miyazaki's portfolio. As always, stay loony, my toonies.